Today we are going to discuss the Watkins coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. First coat of arms to discuss is blazoned: Sable, a chevron between three spearheads embrued argent; Crest, a dragon's head erased vert, with a bloody hand in the mouth. This was for the Watkins family of Pennoyre in County Brecon in Wales. I'm likely mispronouncing the location. Forgive me for that. There was Colonel John Lloyd Watkins Esq, born 1802, a member of Parliament, a Justice of the Peace, and a Deputy Lieutenant, who we see here. He was the son of Thomas Watkins, Fellow of the Royal Society and Fellow Society of Antiquaries, who in turn was the son of Lloyd Watkins, who in turn was the son of Pennoyre Watkins Esq of Broadway, born 1728. Here we see the family estate. Looks like from the previous century. Next is ermine, three butterflies displayed gules for Watkins of Craswall in County Herefordshire, England. Samuel Watkins, alive in the year 1634, and Thomas Watkins were sons of William Watkin of Craswell and his wife, Katherine Parry of Hinton. Samuel had son Roland, who was possibly the Roland Watkins, who was a Church of England clergyman and poet. One for Watkin of Wales that we weren't able to find any additional information on. If you know, please let us know in the comments. The blazon is very similar to the last, with these being harvest flies instead of butterflies, and the crest being a cock's head, argent, combed and wattled gules. Another along the same theme, argent goody de poy, a leopard's face jacent dilly azure between three harvest flies volant proper. Crest, a cock's head cooped transfixed through the mouth by a tilting spear palewise all proper. The Watkin family of Rose Hill in County Cheshire, England. The Watkin baronetcy of Northenden in the County of Chester was a title created in the baronetage of the United Kingdom in 1880 for the railway magnate and politician Sir Edward William Watkin, seen here, who was the son of Absalom Watkin, born 1787, a wealthy cotton merchant and political reformer who was born in London, the son of an innkeeper. Gules, a chevron between three towers or, for Watkins of Pembrokeshire, Wales. Wasn't able to find any additional information on who it belonged to and that location. But there was also born by Watkin of Hillhouse and Hanbury in County Worcestershire. Thomas Watkins, who died in 1587, had son John, who died in 1601. Later there was a John Watkins who died in 1708 and a John Watkins who died in 1721 that were members of this branch of the family. Sable, a chevron between three gauntlets, fingers clenched or, for Watkins of Lanon in Brecon, Wales. William Watkins, an active officer in the Parliamentarian army during the reign of King Charles I, built a farmhouse here in the year 1651. There was a Thomas Watkins of Lanon, who was High Sheriff in 1650. Also in this family was William Watkins, who died around 1708, and a Lewis Watkin, who was alive in the year 1712. Argent, three gauntlets proper. Crest, a cubed arm in armor, the hand holding a broken shaft of a tilting spear and bend sinister all proper, for Watkins of Hertfordshire, England. The next two are said to be for Watkins of Llangorse in Brecon, Wales, and I've recorded the same information for each. This one is gules on a garb or a Cornish show proper, beaked and membered of the field, holding in the beak an ermine spot, a border gaboni or and azure, for Watkins of Llangorse in Brecon, Wales. A Lewis Watkin of Llangorse in Breconshire and of Upton in Pembrokeshire died in 1547. He was a member of Parliament and possibly the father of William Watkin, who was also a member of Parliament for Pembrokeshire boroughs. There's a second coat of arms listed in the family, azure a wolf rampant argent. Now perhaps one was borne by one member and the other by another. This one looks like it's probably the older of the two to me, but again, I'm not sure on that. Next is gules, a cross floretti between 4 demi-griffins, or 5 cinquefoils pierced azure. Crest, a line rampant, gules holding in the dexter paw a fleur-de-lis for Watkin of Somerset, confirmed in the year 1560 to Humphrey Watkins of Hall Wall in County Somerset, who was the son of Thomas Watkins of Yorkshire. And here we see the family estate. Next is or on the chevron gules, 3 horses' shoes of the field. On a chief of the second, 3 fleur-de-lis of the first. Crest, a line rampant, gules holding the dexter paw a fleur-de-lis for Watkins of Yorkshire, England. Frederick Watkins, born 1808, was Archdeacon of Yorkshire and a friend who corresponded through letters with Charles Darwin. And he was the son of Reverend Henry Watkins of Barnburg, County Yorkshire, who was born around the year 1743 and was vicar of Kunisbro, rector of Barnbro, and prebendary of York and Southwell. Azure, a fess bear between 3 leopards' faces adjacent to Lee or. Crest, a griffin's head erased gules for Watkins of Badby House in County Northampton. Charles William Watkins, born 1827, was lieutenant of the 38th Regiment and captain of the Northampton Militia, the son of William Watkins Esq, who died in 1845. They were both of Badby House, and he in turn was the son of Charles Watkins. And here we see the family estate of Badby House as remodeled in the modern day. Azure, a fess between 3 leopards' faces adjacent to Leor. Crest, out of a eastern coronet or a griffin's head erased gules. Watkins of Monmouthshire, Wales. Wasn't able to ascertain who in this family this coat of arms belonged to, but I have some notes here that says there was a family in Monmouthshire who descended from John Watkins of Court Robert, who was born in 1508 and had son Thomas John Watkins, who died around the year 1600. Also by the Watkins of Wiltshire. William Watkins of Wiltshire had daughter and heiress Agnes, who married Drew Mompesson in 1649. And also Watkins of Worcestershire. Reverend Richard Watkins, who died in 1805, was a rector of Rock, and his brother Charles Watkins. They were sons of Richard Watkins, who was a rector of Clifton Camville in Staffordshire, who in turn was the son of Charles Watkins of Aynhoe. Same escutcheon or shield, with the crest different, this one being a leopard's face adjacent to Leor, are Watkins of Shotton Hall in Shropshire. They descended from William Watkins, alive in the year 1539, who was the grandson of Watkin Watkins. And William had son Humphrey Watkins, who had son Francis Watkins. And later in the 19th century, the family was represented by James Watkins Esq, a colonel in the East India Company. And here we see Shotton Hall in the modern day. Azure on a chevron between 3 escallops, argent as many leopards' faces adjacent to Lee gules. Crest, a talbot's head, argent, erased and gorged with a collar of cinquefoils gules. For Watkins of Woodfield in County Worcestershire, England. Gregory Watkins of Woodfield, born 1803, was a high sheriff, a justice of the peace, and a deputy lieutenant, the son of John Watkins, Esquire of Woodfield, who had inherited land from his relative Gregory Watkins of Hagley. And that John descended from Gregory Watkins, born 1639, who was son of John Watkins, who had descended from Brecknock in Wales. Here we have a slightly different version of it. This one has crest at Talbot's head gules, collared argent, and one of the leopard's faces is replaced with a bird argent in base. Azure a fess wavy between 3 roses pierced or a fleur-de-lis for difference. Now, we're not familiar with the charge of a rose pierced or. Perhaps it was meant to be cinquefoil pierced, which we see here. Nevertheless, it was for Watkins of Wiltshire in England. The armature wasn't stated, but I do have a note here that one possibility would be the Watkins family of Calne in Wiltshire, whose members included Robert Calne, alive in the year 1752, described as a barber, which I assume would be a barber surgeon and not a barber as in today, and John Watkins, who was sister of Jane. John Watkins, who had sister Jane, who married a John Mitchell of Colston. Geroni of 8, ermine and sable, a lion passant, or crest, a talbot passant. This was the arms of John W. Watkins of New York. He graduated from Columbia College with a master's degree in 1788, and he married Judith, the daughter of William Livingston, the governor of New Jersey. Or 3 ears of wheat growing proper. It says years, that's a mistake. For the Watkins family of Hillingdon in Middlesex, England, belonging to one Thomas Watkins, who died in 1776. And lastly, azure 10 mullets of 6 points, 4, 3, 2, and 1, crest, a mullet, as in the arms, upon a crescent argent. Wasn't able to find too much information on this one. I believe it's actually the arms of a different family that was impaled with the Watkins family of Hillingdon, said to be possibly the arms of the Pace family. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, where we offer genealogy research service, high-resolution digital JPEGs, and heraldic merchandise such as t-shirts, posters, mugs, and canvas prints. Like, share, and subscribe. Link in the description. Thank you very much.